One of my favorite things to work on my game recently has been level design. Working with challenges within the level on just how the player would get to the other side of the map has been great fun. Additionally, this gives me the opportunity to work on gameplay elements that are quite fun to create. And in this devlog, I will share a little bit more about some of those updates. Hi, I'm Vector, and I'm making a fast-paced 2D action platformer called The Tale of LUMI. So in a previous devlog, I talked about how I'm approaching level design and how I set everything up. But in this devlog, I would like to focus a little bit more on the gameplay elements, such as jumpers, water, boosters, falling platforms, force fields, gravity zones, etc. Alright, let's jump right in. The core concept for the levels of this game is to be fun but fast-paced. So all interactions have to be quick and produce momentum for the character. So one of those interactions that I'm using quite a lot is the jumper. And this I personally think it's super cool. Even though it's not quite unique for this game, but just the way it feels when playing the level. It connects everything very well in my opinion. And here's how it works. There's the pressure pad at the top of the jumper. And once the player steps in, then the pressure pad goes down until we reach the base, which then propels the player upwards. The delay of the pressure pad is just enough so that the player can correct if there's a mistake, but not annoyingly long, so every time you jump on it, it feels like it's loading the jump. Another element that is present with frequency in this game is the water. This is an element that actually slows down the character, which does go against the premise. However, the cool thing about having the water in the game is that it actually changes the gravity impact on the player, and it allows for moments when the player needs to reset before moving fast again. Also, we're currently working on an update for the water that will make it so much more useful than it currently is, and I can't wait to share it once it's ready. Then we have one of my favorite gameplay pieces, which is the booster. This one we don't have the final graphics and animations yet, but here's how it works. The player jumps on it, and then after a quick delay, the player gets thrown towards the arrow direction. The idea here is something similar to Donkey Kong Country, for example, in which Donkey Kong can use the barrels to move to a section of the map. But in this case, it acts more like a cannon that you can use to reach certain areas of the map. And it also plays with the momentum idea. And as every platformer, we also got the basics: moving platforms, falling platforms, activation platforms, etc. I don't want to waste time with the details of those classic elements, but here's a quick overview on how they work. Those are the falling platforms, those are the moving platforms. Finally, those are the activation platforms, which are basically the moving platforms that move once the player steps on them. Another cool gameplay element that I'm playing with to improve levels is what I'm calling the force zones. Those apply forces or sometimes different gravity to the player depending on the element. So one example of this is a force area. This applies a constant force on the player, which makes it harder to walk and also keeps the player from standing still to calculate the next jump. And I think this is cool because then the player needs to think fast in order to take action. Also, we have those custom gravity zones, which for now are just circles that the player can walk around like a mini planet. We do have some additional ideas in the works, but then again, the goal with this is to stack layers of interaction on top of the basic platformer to make it more fun and also to make the player move faster. Also, something that I didn't mention was the actual character controller, which we have been constantly upgrading to what we have now, which is a super fast and easy to control character. I believe we achieved a very good result, but I will have a demo hopefully soon for everybody to try out and see what everybody thinks. And finally, we have the enemies, but I'll talk about them in a future devlog. They need some extra polishing before they're ready to be revealed. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And that's it for this devlog. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.